Before I begin the video, I just want to flag, as always, that I am not a qualified financial advisor and nothing I say should be considered as financial advice. Hello, I'm the Geordie Saver and this is my investment update for July 2024. So I haven't posted on my channel for a couple of weeks now, so it's August and I've been on holiday, so I've just got back from a lovely week in Belgium. So we went to Brussels and also did some day trips to Bruges and Ghent, and then when we got back to London we had a weekend of seeing West End shows, so that was really good. I might actually post a video at some point about how much that cost us, because I think it's interesting to see, what we budgeted for our holiday and what we actually spent. So in this video, I'm just going to talk through how my stocks and shares ISA is getting on. I've made the decision not to reveal kind of what exactly I'm invested in, just because I'm not a financial advisor. But what I will say is that it's held within a stocks and shares ISA, and I do invest in a global index fund. So where were we at the end of last month? So I had £8,078 held within my investment account, and my main goal is to get £10,000 this year. Well, as soon as possible, really. But I'm conscious that my emergency fund isn't very big at the moment, so I'm holding off investing large sums into this ISA until I've got my emergency fund up to where I want it. So you'll see that the previous 2 months I've just purchased, a kind of token amount of money, but it's not a substantial amount of money. Sorry, I've got a bit of a cough there. So this month was no different, and we purchased £50 worth of fund, and then I got paid dividends. So some of the things I invest in are dividend paying funds. Now, I mean, it's hard to explain this because I'm not revealing what I'm investing in, but I did start investing in some funds without realizing really at the start which were dividend paying. Sorry, I should reveal the figure first. So it's £19.93 I got in dividends. I did invest in a fund that was dividend paying early on, but then one of my plans with my investments is just to step back, and even though I go into it and look for the values for these videos, I don't want to have to keep I want it to be as automated as possible, so I don't want to have to reinvest those dividends, because the way it works is I get paid this £19.93 to my investment account in the cash pot, and then I have to manually purchase funds with that money, whereas you can buy accumulation versions of the fund where the dividends get reinvested automatically. So maybe about a year and a half ago, I switched from investing in this fund, which was I think they call it kind of an income fund, because you get these dividends, to an accumulation fund. So that's just personally what I've chosen to do. But you can see this amount here, this 1993, the dividends that do get paid are from that that fund that I did invest in initially. And then market gain loss, so it was a gain of £6. So I think there was a bit of volatility in July, went up and down, and then it was pretty much a 0% market gain, because £6 isn't very sort of substantial. And then the fees, I got charged again for the fees on the platform that I use, and that was £3. So the platform I use, the fees are based on it's a percentage of your holding, but for me, I'm not really too concerned about the fees at the moment because they are quite small. I guess if I was someone with a huge portfolio of, say, a couple of 100,000, maybe I might be more concerned about those fees. I don't know. I mean, we'll cross that bridge when I come to it. And then cumulative returns. So this is the amount of money that my investments have went up by. So the comparison of what I paid for my investments versus what they are worth is £1,464. So this is a really interesting figure because if we go back to so this is the 23-24 year that I'm showing here, you can see that if I went back to July 23, it was only 392, and that was to do a bit with, obviously market fluctuation, whereas a year later, obviously I've invested more, which kind of builds more interest, but also the market has, I guess, improved from where we were last year. So £1,464 is, a great number, and that is, I've been investing since 2019 now. So the end balance is £8,150. As I said, my focus is I really want to go from 4 figures to 5 figures. And whilst I am really motivated and would love to just tackle this head on and invest as much as I can, I've got to be measured by what's happening with my emergency fund, because I learned a lesson a couple of years ago with these investments that I've talked about on this video before, where I put too much of an emphasis on adding to my investments without having an emergency fund, and then when something cropped up in life where I did need money that was kind of easily accessible, I had to then sell some of my investments, and it was quite demotivating, and it had a knock-on impact that I kind of lost motivation with my investments. So I'm taking this the stance of saying, well, actually, I'm going to invest gradually while my emergency fund builds up. And then once I've got a £6,000 emergency fund, I will then start investing more. And then overall figure. So I find this really helpful to see kind of so on the left here is all the returns I've had each month. So you can see the market fluctuation. So out of let's see how many months. So I've been investing for 62 months now. 61% of them, the market has went up, and 39% of them, the markets went down. So you can see what that pattern looks like. So I think this is helpful, in terms of me tracking this long-term investing that I'm doing, to see just how fluctuating the sort of stock market can be, and what investing is like. I think early on, when you see, I haven't got the dates along here, but I'm presuming this is 2020 sort of market impact, and you can see we've got a very large drop here. We've got drops. Sometimes if you start investing and this is one of the first months you encounter, it's a real test to see, actually, do you have the risk tolerance for investing. And I think the good thing about that I've started by investing small sums is that I'm getting an idea of what my risk tolerance is. And I think personally, for me, risk tolerance for me is as long as I know I've got an emergency fund and I'm investing an amount of money that I'd be willing to lose. So, if this £8,000 got wiped, say the value went, I don't know how this would, well, I won't give my opinion, but if the £8,000 got wiped and I had to wait 20 years to get that £8,000 back and for the market to recover, could I survive with what I've got in, money elsewhere, in my mortgage, in my savings account? And if the answer is yes, then that's great. But obviously, if I was really dependent on this money and I had no money elsewhere, I didn't own my property or anything, then maybe my risk mindset might be a bit different, because I couldn't foresee a year where I can't access the money. So a bit of a rambly video, but you can see there that this market gain, this £1,400, the hope with my long-term investment is that the more I add to this, the longer I invest and the bigger the compounding happens, that this will grow and grow. At the moment, I think I've been very much focused on mortgage overpayments. Once I get to below £100,000 on my mortgage, I think I'm going to really shift focus and be building up my investments. One of the main reasons for that is because with my mortgage, whilst it's great to have the money locked away when I pay, when I've overpaid my mortgage, that money is locked against my home and I can't take money out easily unless I take it out at a remortgaging point. But it's not very flexible in terms of if I wanted to, take £1,000 out the mortgage, I can't do that. Whereas with investments, if I wanted to take £1,000 out in the future of my £8,000, I'd have it within a couple of days. And having all my wealth in my property and not as much emergency fund, kind of easy access cash, or any like liquid investments that like stock and shares, ISA, that's a bit of a risk to me if I've got everything in property and none elsewhere. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to balance that out by having more in my stocks and shares ISA, and then say I build this balance up so that it's higher than my outstanding mortgage balance, then I do have the option to pay off the mortgage if we want, but also having money in a stocks and shares ISA may mean that I've got flexibility in the future, that if I wanted to take a career break and use some of that money to offset the loss in income, then I could. So I think there's a bit more flexibility there, and also the big one, is that the potential for bigger returns is there as well. So that's just my opinion, and it's what I'm planning to do with my own personal finance journey. So that was a bit of a rambly video, so apologies for that. I'm out of the habit of doing these videos because it's been about 3 or 4 weeks since I did the last one. So if you're on a similar journey, let me know in the comments box down below, and I'll see you on the next video.